Welcome to this mapRoute guide to routes. Firstly, to create a route, we need to enter the edit mode by either clicking on the edit route button or by pressing the E key. Once in edit mode, the cursor will have changed to a crosshair and edit mode will be displayed in the status bar. Now you can click on the map surface to add points to your route. Your route can be as detailed or as simplistic as you like. In edit mode, a blue circle known as a drag handle is shown at each point, so you can edit points easily. If you move the cursor over a drag handle, the cursor will change to a hand, and you can now drag that point to a different location. Between each pair of drag handles is a smaller white circle, or a virtual drag handle, which can be dragged in the same way to insert a new point into the route. Once a virtual drag handle is dragged, it becomes a new point, and a new virtual drag handle appears on either side of it, so you can insert into those sections of the route too. To delete a point, simply right-click the drag handle. You can delete or prune multiple waypoints by pressing the P key whilst in edit mode. A rectangle appears over the active route and you can drag drag handles and virtual drag handles in the same way as you do with a route. Cover the points you want to delete with a polygon. The points which will be pruned will appear red. Just press the P key again to complete pruning. To leave edit mode, you can just press the escape key. Clicking the edit route button or pressing the E key will also work. To save the route on the mapRoute server, either click the Save Route button or press the S key. You'll be given a list of up to 12 name suggestions to choose from, though you don't have to use these. The suggestions will be nearby place names based on either the route start, midpoint, centre point or end. Once saved, the route will be available for future sessions until you delete it from the server. One way to access your saved routes is to go to the Routes tab by pressing the number 1 key. We called the route we created Simmons Yacht, so it's this one. Click on the name to edit the route name. To save it, either press Enter or click on another part of the screen. Optional comments can be added and updated in the same way. You can see the route and when it was last updated, the ascent in the route, and by clicking the value you reveal an elevation graph, which we'll cover later in this video. This column shows the length of the route and how many points there are in the route. The reverse button changes the direction of the saved route. Click on the world eye to load the route. If I add a point to the end of the route, you can see that the route has been reversed. Click on the bin to archive the route. Archive routes can be seen by selecting the Archive view. After 28 days, they will automatically be permanently deleted or burned. But in the meantime, you can restore archived routes to the active status by clicking the Restore icon. A lone icon like this at the bottom of a table always means that it applies to all of the above. I'll restore the route now. We have been working with the active routes, which are always loaded with a left click on the world eye, but you can also load static routes by right-clicking on the world eye. Static routes are visible but not editable. So if I load these two routes as static routes and zoom out on the map, you'll be able to see our active route and the two static routes. If I now click on the Zoom to Route button or press the Z key, the active route will be centered and the zoom level will be set to the highest value possible while still showing the entire route on the screen. Also on the Route tab is an Export button. Your route can be exported to a GPX file as a route or a track. Navigating tracks is a trick that works well on many GPS receivers, as routes are often not displayed when navigating to a waypoint, such as a geocache. Tracks tend to remain visible. Tracks also contain elevation detail for each point on the track, which may be useful on some devices. The next four items on the export menu, waypoint, hills, trig points and geocaches, are all locations. These can be downloaded within the route area. Imagine drawing a circle around your route with a bit of leeway in it, and then all of the specified objects within this circle would be exported in a GPX file. Custom allows you to download any combination of these exports into a single GPX file. If you go to the Export section of the Settings tab, you'll see the 6 object types. Just select those that you want in your custom GPX file and don't forget to click the Save Your Settings button. So now, if I export custom, all of those 3 types of objects will be downloaded to a single GPX file. If my geocaching settings say to only show unfound caches, then this will apply here too. The file name usually has a prefix to determine the data type, such as RT_ for routes, but the custom export has no prefix. Moving on, you can clear a route with a Clear Route button or the C key, and if there are outstanding changes to the route, a warning will be displayed. Another way of locating routes is with the View Routes button or the V key. This will show routes within a defined distance of the centre of your screen. The orange pins indicate your routes, while the bluey-grey pins indicate other people's shared routes. Click on a route to view it or press Escape to quit. So I'll click on this shared route and it gets loaded. I can edit it, but because it's not one of my routes, I can't save it. You can download any active route though by pressing the D key. This also applies to shared routes. You can also rename a route by clicking on its name in the status bar. This is particularly useful if you want to create a route that you don't want to save. Just create the route, rename it, and then download it with a D key. If you want to share one of your own routes with other users, just click the Share box. A link icon will appear, and if you click this, you'll be offered some links to that route in URL, HTML, Markdown and BB code forms, so that you can easily add your links just about anywhere. Simply click on a link to have it copied to your clipboard. I'll copy the URL link and paste it into a new browser tab to show you what a user would see when they clicked on your embedded link. They can either display the route in mapRoute if they are a registered user, or download the route in a GPX file even if they're not registered as a mapRoute user. If the link was embedded in another website, it would say which site you were referred from. To clear static routes, you need to select Clear Static Layer from the menu. Let's load another route now. To view the elevation graph, either select the option from the menu or press the G key. If you move the cursor over the graph, crosshairs will appear, and a purple pin will appear on the route at the corresponding point. We can easily identify the highest point on the route, for instance. The value here relates to the crosshair location, showing coordinates, distance into the route, and elevation. If you edit the active route while the elevation graph is being displayed, you'll need to click the refresh button to reflect the changes in the graph. This is clearly the drop in elevation we just added. In the route section of the settings, we can select how the active route appears. Just click the colour and then the brightness level. Also, you can choose the route style, thickness and transparency, 15 being solid. Earlier we searched for routes by clicking the View Routes button. The Search For setting allows you to select which type of routes are included in your search, and the search radius defines the radius of the search from the centre of the screen. Routes and tracks can be imported by simply dragging and dropping the GPX files onto the map surface. GPX files can contain multiple objects of multiple types. For example, a single file contains several routes, several tracks, along with waypoints and geocaches. I'm going to drop a single GPX file which contains a single route onto the map. mapRoute reads the route and displays it. If I move the cursor over the route is highlighted and an info box shows the name, length and number of points in the route. If you want to make the route active so you can save it and edit it, just click on the Activate button which appears when you move the cursor over the route. We didn't save the changes to the previous route, so we're warned. You can see that mapRoute also knows the route name and when it was created. We could save the route now or just edit it and then download the revised changes by pressing the D key. As another example, I'll now drag two files, each containing one track, onto the map surface. Imported routes appear in a variety of colours so you can easily tell them apart. mapRoute has simplified this track from 1205 points to 119 using an intelligent algorithm that reduces points without losing detail. I'll activate this route, then I can look at the elevation graph and save the route. I'll clear the route in the static layer now. The last thing I want to show you is the Shared View on the Route tab. This is just a quick reference to shared routes by other owners that you've previously viewed. You can even thank someone if you found their shared route useful. My last tip is that you should periodically make a backup of all your routes by simply clicking on the Route Export button under the Route table on the Route tab. The same applies to waypoints. I hope you found this useful. I know it sounds like a lot of information, but it's mostly pretty intuitive.